No barriers. No limits. Just freedom. Introducing the MV1, the only vehicle built from the ground up to be a solution for people with mobility issues. The only factory-built vehicle that meets or exceeds ADA guidelines. Inspired by us and made in America by the Vehicle Production Group. Now we have an honest choice for transportation. The MV1. Live without limitations. Go to MV1 of Colorado at the giant MedVet Autoplex. MV1 is the only ADA-compliant vehicle designed from the ground up with your needs in mind. Loaded with features and built in America. The MV1 costs about a third less than most conversion vans. And in the Rocky Mountain region, it's available exclusively through MedVet. Now you have a choice. MV1 of Colorado, presented by MedVet. On the I-25 corridor, depart the 181 ramp, Castle Rock. And on I-70 in Wheat Ridge. Exit Kipling, exit Ward, but exit the giant MedVet Autoplex.
Hi, my name is Corey Fairbanks. I'm the Executive Director of the Colorado Adaptive Sports Foundation. I've spent my life coaching, sponsoring, mentoring people with physical disabilities, trying to break down barriers. And that's why I'm very excited about the new MV1 that we have here today from the Vehicle Production Group. I have Amy Betzler from VPG here. How you doing, Amy?
I'm good, Corey. How are you?
So tell me a little bit about this vehicle. What do we got here?
As you said, it's called the MV1, which stands for Mobility Vehicle 1. It's made by VPG, which is Vehicle Production Group. And this vehicle is the first vehicle that comes from the factory, completely wheelchair accessible. It meets and exceeds all ADA guidelines.
Really? So how did they design this vehicle then?
There's 54 million people across the United States that have some kind of mobility issue. And there was a need that wasn't being met because there was nothing that they could purchase directly from the factory that came wheelchair accessible or that had any kind of ramp built into it. So we consulted with people with mobility issues, with their families, with fleet drivers, with anyone who, might be involved in driving or riding in a vehicle like this. Everything from the cup holders to the grab bars to the buttons in this vehicle were designed with all those ideas in mind.
Really? So how does someone with a mobility impairment access the vehicle then?
Well, you open the door, and once you open the door, there's a switch that brings the ramp out.
So the ramp is integrated into the vehicle?
The ramp is integrated into the floor of the vehicle, and the ramp comes in every single MV1 sold.
The ramp doesn't just fold up into the vehicle, taking up space inside?
Completely out of the way. You won't even see that it's there. Roush designed the chassis of the vehicle so that the ramp could be built into the floor of the vehicle.
This is not a conversion van?
Oh no, this isn't a conversion van. Right now, the only options that people have with a mobility impairment are to either take public transit or to buy a vehicle and send it out and have it converted. And what that entails is they cut the floor out of the vehicle, they lower the floor, they put the ramp in, and then they weld it all back together.
Wow, that's fantastic. What does something like this cost?
These start around $42,000.
Wow. How does that compare to like a conversion van?
Conversion vans can run anywhere from $60,000 to $75,000.
And what kind of engine does this thing have in it?
This has a 4.6-liter V8.
Wow, so it's got a lot of power then.
It's got a lot of power, and you also have the option of making it clean with the CNG, which is the compressed natural gas.
So you can get a green vehicle.
Correct.
Where is this vehicle built?
This vehicle is built in Mishawaka, Indiana, and it's built by union workers.
This is an American-made product?
Correct. This is made in the USA.
Wow, that's fantastic. Should we get in it and check it out?
Let's go check it out.
All right, sounds great. Amy, tell me what this car is all about.
This vehicle is built all around the ramp.
Wow, that's cool.
I'm deploying it at a 6-to-1 ratio to give it a nice, gentle slope going up.
Nice. What supports that?
It sits on a solid ladder frame foundation.
That's cool. But let's go inside, check it out.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Man, this thing is big and roomy, all right.
Yeah, and as you can see, the door's extra wide to accommodate wheelchairs.
Yeah, I'm not cramped. There's tons of room in here.
Yeah, it's nearly 5 feet tall from floor to ceiling, and it can accommodate up to 6 passengers.
Is it safe?
Oh, definitely is. Seatbelts for all passengers, and it's passed all required safety crash tests.
That's great. So, Amy, how can someone find out more information about this?
For more information, go to the website at the bottom of the screen.
And Amy, you know what? I think the one thing I really like about this vehicle, I can sit right up here in front like everybody else. So why don't you jump in, let's take this thing for a ride.
All right, let's go.
I love the MV1. It's the best ride that I've had, and it's not an adapted vehicle. It's an accessible vehicle. I love that the ramp is integrated. I love that I can sit in the front and I'm not sitting above everyone else when I'm sitting in my wheelchair, and I have a nice view from the windshield. I love that my daughter, who uses a power wheelchair as well, can fit in the van with me. The biggest difference for the MV1 versus my old vans, first of all, one place I can go to get it fixed. The best experience was walking into a dealership, looking at several different vehicles, saying, I want that color, and walking out that same day with a van that worked for my family that day without any changes. For my family, the Q-Strength gives us a flexibility for 3 different wheelchair users to configure our tie downs in a way that we all can fit safely. I love the MV1. Yes, I love it. I love it.
Well, the MV1 did change my life in that I'm more free. I can get in this thing with a power chair, rain or shine, and be able to go where I want to go. It gives me the feeling that I can go out and do doggone near anything that I want. It's big enough. Where most conversion vans, you get in there with your chair, you're all scrunched over trying to move around. As I go and I park my vehicle down there, it's show and tell. It's the people, everybody that comes up, like, what is it? What, who makes it? What, is it American? And you'd be surprised how many people are disabled that this, fits their bill. Well, you gotta buy an MV1. It takes care of everything that you need right now.
Live without limitations. Go to MV1 of Colorado at the giant MedVet Autoplex. MV1 is the only ADA-compliant vehicle designed from the ground up with your needs in mind. Loaded with features and built in America. The MV1 costs about a third less than most conversion vans, and in the Rocky Mountain region, it's available exclusively through MedVet. Now you have a choice. MV1 of Colorado, presented by MedVet. On the I-25 corridor, depart the 181 ramp, Castle Rock, and on I-70 in Wheat Ridge. Exit Kipling, exit Ward, but exit the giant MedVet Autoplex. The road. It can take you to work, to the store, or on vacation. For a long time, your only options were public transportation or a van converted for special uses. But just because your mobility is limited doesn't mean you should have limited mobility. Introducing the MV1. The MV1 is the only ADA-compliant vehicle purposed for the mobility community. VPG designed the MV1 from the ground up, with input from wheelchair users, their families, and fleet operators, with the goal of building a car that offers the broadest range of mobility for our customers. In the past, wheelchair users had to rely on converted vans. However, a converted van starts as a stock vehicle from a dealer. Its frame and body are then cut to accommodate a ramp. With unibody vehicles, like minivans, cutting can compromise the structure. Then the suspension has to be enhanced with aftermarket parts to support the extra weight of the ramp. And still, the ceiling is low and the interior is cramped. It's a good solution, but the MV1 is different. At VPG, we built our vehicle with a rugged body-on-frame design. We started with a ladder frame foundation, featuring fully boxed and tubed crossmembers to optimize the strength and durability of the vehicle and to support the weight of the ramp. Next, we added state-of-the-art suspension, rack and pinion steering, and topped it off with a stylish corrosion-resistant steel body. Power is not a concern for the MV1. Our engineers equipped the MV1 with a Ford 4.6-liter V8 engine. But the centerpiece of the MV1 is the automated, fully integrated, deployable ramp. The ramp comes in short and long configurations. And the door of the MV1 allows for easy entry by wheelchairs or scooters and meets or exceeds ADA guidelines. Inside, you'll find seating for up to 6 passengers, nearly 5 feet of clearance from floor to ceiling, and all of the comforts and conveniences you'd expect in a car. The Q-Straint wheelchair restraint track system locks the chair in place. And unlike a conversion van, the wheelchair passenger rides shotgun. If you can drive, we can configure the seat and controls of the MV1 for your abilities. Dreaming of a family road trip? The MV1 has best-in-class cargo capacity. And you can go green with an optional clean-burning compressed natural gas system. The MV1, stylish, durable, and built with you in mind. Life should be lived without limitations. Contact your MV1 dealer today for details or to see one for yourself.
I started driving cars when I was about 14 or 15 years old back in Nebraska, and had gotten to where I could drive cars with shifters, clutches, and all that, but my legs got weak enough that automatic transmissions were much better for me. And I have driven clear on up to 4 years ago. I think it was 2008 when I ended up in the hospital. It's been quite an experience having it, and I go to work 4 to 5 days a week, and I drive it. Once in a while, I take the group out to lunch, and everybody can sit in the back, and we have a good time. The MV1 did change my life.
It is everything that a person with a disability and their family who is trying to give them the best quality of life. And transportation is a very important piece of quality of life, getting from A to B. You make your plan, but you got to get there. I think that it certainly meets all of our needs. You know, every family will have their certain criteria of what they need. And this car just met everything that we needed. It allowed for passengers in the back. It allowed for a right side entrance. The height was perfect, but best of all, Nick can sit in the front. And the whole relationship between the driver and the passenger, or then the driver and Nick, in other words, totally changes. One, we can hear him when he talks now, and we couldn't hear him in the back as well. And life was through the rear view mirror before.
I love the MV1. I can sit in the front and see everything around me. I get in by myself because there is so much space. It is classy. My friends say it's like riding in a limousine.
Live without limitations. Go to MV1 of Colorado at the giant MedVet Autoplex. MV1 is the only ADA-compliant vehicle designed from the ground up with your needs in mind. Loaded with features and built in America. The MV1 costs about a third less than most conversion vans. And in the Rocky Mountain region, it's available exclusively through MedVet. Now you have a choice. MV1 of Colorado, presented by MedVet. On the I-25 corridor, depart the 181 ramp, Castle Rock. And on I-70 in Wheat Ridge. Exit Kipling, exit Ward, but exit the giant MedVet Autoplex. Now we have an honest choice for transportation. The MV1.